Okay. But I was trying to keep that
Good afternoon again. This is Susan, and I'm here to introduce our speakers. Our two illustrious speakers are in the room, and they are Sam Seavey and Dylan Nichols. Both of them are staff members of the Bluegrass Council of the Blind. Both of them serve the Assistive Technology Program. So I think a number of you already know them. I'm not going to, Sam has his own YouTube channel. I think a lot of you know that too. It's called The Blind Life. And Dylan is one of our newest staff members, and we're very happy to have both of them on board. They have been to Colorado, and they're here to tell you about their experiences, extreme mobility.
Hold your applause.
Sorry, the microphone is kind of hanging low. I can't get it to come up any higher, so maybe we can.
Sorry, it's going to be loud here in a second. There we go.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. You guys all hear me okay? We'll take turns.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to hold it, if that'll work. Yeah. So thank you guys. So yeah, Susan asked us to just kind of talk a little bit about our experience. We both took, this is our second trip to Colorado as part of a camp for blind young adults, I'll say that. So the camp is called XMO. We're both wearing our XMO shirts, and it stands for Extreme Mobilities Camp. And short story is, it's a group out of California. They have a summer camp and a winter camp. They summer in California doing water sports and that sort of thing, hiking, camping, that sort of thing. And then the winter camp is in Colorado, where we do all kinds of amazing fun stuff. And so Dylan and I actually went 2 years ago. It was our first trip. And I'll let Dylan tell you more about how we got connected with them and all of that. And then we just went again 3 weeks ago, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty recently. So I'll let Dylan talk about how we got connected, and then we'll start talking about our experience.
Hello, everybody. So I found out about this 2 years ago because Dr. Amanda Lannon at UK sent out an email to I think everybody that she knows with visual impairment. And I didn't really know anybody going on the trip, but I applied and I got accepted. And the first person I met when I got to the airport was Sam. First time I met him. And so we actually got to go. So a lot of the trip is free, except for the airfare. But Michelle Brown with the KSB, Kentucky School for the Blind charitable foundation, sponsored about 5 to 10 athletes to go. And that's how we did that this time. The first time I went as an athlete, this time I went as a trainer.
So what athletes and trainers are.
Yeah, so athletes are just, I guess not students, but the people who are visually impaired who get to participate in everything. And the trainers do as well. Same went as a trainer both times. And you just have a little bit of extra responsibilities, an extra meeting. You try to help out those who have a little bit less vision or need a little bit more help. Anyway, so we left the end of last month, and we got there. I got there pretty late. Sam, you got there the next day, right?
Yeah.
So we got there. We really only had enough time to eat and realize that we were thousands and thousands of feet above sea level, and it was hard to breathe. I got my schedule, and I was skiing the very next day. They split the group because it's so big. There's about 9 of us from Kentucky, and the rest were from various places, California, Colorado, a couple from Arizona. And so usually the days are split in half, and so you do something in the morning, you do something else in the afternoon. But if you're downhill skiing, the 2 days that you do, so for me it's Monday, Thursday, Sam, I think it was Tuesday, Friday.
Something like that.
Yeah, and so that's the whole day, morning and afternoon. And so you go. They put you in a van. They take you over to Winter Park, which is about 30 minutes from where we're staying in Colorado, and you get matched with a ski instructor. So there's an organization in Winter Park called the National Sports Center for the Disabled, and so they work with people with any disability, but they have volunteers who are trained to work specifically with people who are blind or visually impaired. And so my experience, I got paired with two instructors. They had plenty to go around that day apparently, and so I got some special attention. And this was my second time skiing. The first time, I'll talk about both times. But I'm legally blind, so I've got 2200 vision, so I can see pretty decently. But the thing I had trouble with the most was the snow was pretty uniformly white. So I had a lot of trouble with where are the inclines, where are the declines, where am I going back up the mountain and slowing down, and where are my steep drop-offs where I'm going to go really fast. And so my ski instructors, we worked out a system where they would follow pretty close behind me and they would call out things that would tell me whether I was starting to go back uphill, or if I was getting too close to a person or a tree that they thought I didn't see. And we worked our way from the bunny slope, which is literally just a tiny hill. If you start speeding up, you're going to be done in about 20 seconds. And that's where most of the children start out learning. And so we got some of the fundamentals, how to turn left, how to turn right, how to stop, more importantly. And then we went up to, so there's 3 different levels. There's greens, blues, and black diamonds. Those are the different kind of slopes, trails, whatever you want to call them. And so I spent most of my time on the greens, learning what I was doing and getting comfortable. And that was day 1. I'm going to let Sam talk about his day 1. But first, I do want to say that I got a little bit of altitude sickness because we went up way too high. And we were scheduled to do snowmobiling on Friday. And I got to do snowmobiling early because they had to take me off the mountain because I couldn't breathe. But I was fine.
Yeah, let me actually back up, give a little context about this. So it's in Colorado, Winter Park, as Dylan said, and you fly into Denver. Now Denver's called the Mile High City because it's a mile above sea level. So here in Lexington, I think we sit right around 900 feet above sea level, relatively close to the ocean. Denver is a mile, so that's over 5,000 feet above sea level. The mountain that we went up to was, at one point I saw that it hit 12,000 feet. So that's almost 3 miles above sea level. 15,000 would have been 3 miles. So it is extremely high, and our bodies sitting here comfortably at 900 feet above sea level is not used to it. It takes you a little while to get acclimated. So like when we first got there, we stay at a YMCA, and it's like a big hotel. And there's a flight of stairs that you have to go from the parking lot into get inside. And just going up those 14 stairs, you have to stop at the top, and you're like sucking wind. You get out of breath so quickly because you're just not used to it. It's kind of crazy. It's very humbling when you first get there. So that's why when the very next day they expected Dylan to go up on even a higher mountain and go doing some very vigorous activity of skiing. You're not just sliding down a mountain. Every muscle is tensed up. You're turning and everything. You're panicked because, like it says, it's all white with very contrasty, a dark line of trees and dark shapes moving around. And I'm the same way. I can't tell if it's going up or down. So it's very anxiety-inducing for us, especially not being professional skiers or anything. So yeah, so that was Dylan's experience. I should also mention that the young adults that attend this camp are aged 14 to 29, I believe, is the age range. Most of them, I think Dylan was one of the oldest, right?
Last year?
Yeah,
2 years
when he
ago.
went the previous time. So they're mostly high school age kids, young college age. So it's a lot of fun. But yes, I came up a day later because I had this other conflicting travel schedule, and I got to skip that first day of skiing. My first skiing day was several days later. I had already had a chance to acclimate, and I had a great time. This is only my third time skiing. I went to Perfect North Ridge. What's it called? Perfect. Yeah, yeah, the one that's here in Kentucky, or maybe South Indiana. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I went there once a couple years ago, and that was my first time skiing. So Colorado 2 years ago was my second time. This year was my third time. But I picked it up pretty quickly. So I spent a lot of my time. We did a couple refresher green levels, but then I spent most of my time on the blue, and had a great time. And I think that even within those colors, there are different levels. So there's different levels of blue. And so I was doing great on this one slope, and so I had two guides as well. And they were like, well, come on, let's try this one over here. And we got off the ski lift, and we kind of skied over to the top of this hill. And I kid you not, we got to the edge, and I swear the tips of my skis were hanging off into space. I was looking down the side of this mountain, and people were going by us and going down, and they were getting very small very quickly. And I was like, guys, I do not feel confident about this. I think this is a little sketchy. I don't think I'm ready for this. And they're like, oh, it'll be fine. We're going to just go side to side. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not comfortable with this. And so they thankfully they respected that, and we turned around and we went back to one of the smaller ones because it was a little scary. But I did have a pretty nasty fall while skiing. We're wearing these high-vis vests, and they say blind skier on the back, and we're wearing helmets. And thankfully I had a helmet because we were going down at one point, and I wiped out, and I flipped a couple times, and my skis flew off, and I ended up on my back going downhill, and so my head just cracked right into the snow. And you think snow is super soft, but no, not on the ski slope. It's been compacted. It's hard. And so it rattled me. I went fuzzy a little bit. I saw the Tweety birds flying around. And then they took me up to that big hill, and I'm like, no, after that last fall, I don't think I can do it. But it was a lot of fun. One of the other events that we do is, as Dylan was saying, they do snowmobiling, they do cross-country skiing, which I thought I was going to hate the first 2 years ago. Never done it before, and I'm like, I'm not a cross-country anything. I don't do anything like that. And I was like, this is not going to be fun, but I actually really enjoyed it. It was peaceful, and you're just kind of going at a gentle, yeah, you're shuffling along with these skis on, and it's in the middle of the woods, and it's quiet, and it's beautiful. There's mountains and snow and evergreen trees everywhere, and there's, you can see little tracks in the snow of like foxes and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
I really enjoyed the cross-country skiing as well. I do a lot of hiking, and so it really for me was the best parts of hiking and downhill skiing. Downhill, you can't really move uphill. Even on flat, you're still sliding around a lot, and so the skis are made in such a way that you can walk around, you can kind of shuffle around and walk up the hill without sliding back down. And then when you get to the top, you get to downhill ski, and so it's really a lot of fun.
Sorry for the microphone. Yeah. So we did have a bit of an incident while we were doing the cross-country skiing this trip. So I was in the middle of the pack. Dylan was right behind me, and he was the last one in the line. And we had, now here's the thing about this whole adventure. There are totally blind people on this trip. There are people like us who are kind of in the middle of vision loss. So everybody's doing all of this stuff, and they've got it set up to where it's very accessible, and they've got people helping. So don't sit there and think, well, I can never go cross-country skiing, I can't see. A lot of the people there couldn't see at all, and they've got it set up to where you can do it and have a great time. So we had this line of us in these little tracks that they have for the skis, and they have fully sighted guides spaced evenly throughout. I think there were 3 or 4, and so one was bringing up the rear with Dylan. I was right in front of Dylan. Then there was this young lady in front of me who's 25 she's a nurse out of California, super nice, visually impaired. and she was in front of me. And these hills that you're going up and down, they're very gradual inclines and declines. And so you're going uphill and you're starting to huff and puff because you're really climbing up a hill in snow. But then going downhill, you get to coast a little bit. You still maybe have to push with your skis. It's not a very steep hill. But then we got kind of to the end, and there was a steep hill. And we try to space out just in case something like this happens, because you can't stop. There's no stopping in these skis. You just have to ride it out. And I noticed that the young lady that was in front of me, she had gotten so far ahead that I couldn't see her. And people had been talking about there's a hill coming up, so I knew that she was probably on the hill. So I start going and I start picking up speed, and I'm just standing there enjoying the ride. And for my vision impairment, I rely heavily on contrast. And if I'm out in the bright sun, great, I can see really well. But when we go into an area that has overcast or trees that are casting shadows on my path, that messes me up all kinds of ways. I can't tell what's what because of those shadows. And so I start to turn this corner and I start going into this shadowed area. And as I'm turning, I'm going pretty fast at this point. As I'm turning, I noticed in the distance, I could see that she had fallen down. And I'm coming up on her very quickly. So I drop down. You can't stop. Once again, you can't like put your ski poles in because they just get yanked out backwards. So I drop down to one knee and I start dragging one knee in the snow to try and slow down. And thankfully I did. I did not slow down enough. I totally just pile drive right into this poor young lady. 220 pounds, just steamrolled right over her. I went over the top of her, but luckily I did slow down enough that I didn't just like take her head off. But I still, she spun around, and the problem was that her ski didn't move the way her rest of her body did. And so it twisted her leg in a really bad way. I don't think she tore anything, but she was not able to walk very well after that. I, of course, felt horrible. I'm laying there, she's laying there, and all of a sudden I hear Dylan coming up behind me. You want to tell?
So here I am in the back of the line, so this doesn't happen to me. And so nobody comes crashing into me. And so I'm paying attention to Sam because he's in front of me, and I can see him. He's pretty small. He's off in the distance, and I'm looking around at the scenery, and we're going down this hill. And all of a sudden, the sighted guide who's behind me at this point starts yelling, and I'm like, what? I don't know what you're saying. I couldn't hear him because there was wind blowing by really fast. And then I turn around, and Sam is suddenly a lot bigger. And so we're in these grooves, and so there's not really anywhere to go. So I just kind of throw myself to the left and skid for a little bit.
On your side.
On my side.
Yeah.
And I was able to avoid them. But it was really scary for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, thankfully he didn't crash into me. He sacrificed himself to save the rest. So, but then we, this poor young lady, she couldn't ski anymore, so we took our skis off and we walked and helped her the rest of the way. But even aside from that, still, I love the cross-country skiing. It's a lot of fun if anybody gets a chance to try it. So then we also spent a day at a YMCA going to the pool. You could play basketball. There was another rec center that we got to spend half a day at that had a skating rink, and you could play pool, you could play foosball. We did rock climbing, which was a lot of fun. That was also at the rink, and I was super impressed with a lot of the kids there, just facing their fears and you know, because you got to think about it. You're on a wall and there's handholds and footholds, but if you can't see where they are, and you know you're 30 feet above the ground, it could be kind of terrifying. So a lot of us were down there. Oh, to your left, to your left. No, I'm sorry, your other left, your other left. Yeah, right there. And had several of them reach all the way to the top, which is pretty awesome. But it was a good time. Anything else?
We got to swim. They took one of the two rec centers. They took us to everything you could possibly want to swim in: an Olympic lap pool, a lazy river, a hot tub, and that was really relaxing after all of the intense physical activity.
I did not swim. I'm not a swimmer in other people's pools. I sat there and went through some emails, but which was good. But as I said, you stay at a YMCA, and you're bunked up with. I had 4. So I like Dylan said, I was a trainer. Dylan was a trainer this year, and we had 3 athletes in my room. Do you have 3 athletes in your room? Yeah. So it's communal, and you share one bathroom. Then they have a big cafeteria area with a buffet, and had really good food. I'm very impressed with the food. We ate way too much. But oddly enough, I actually lost weight on the trip because you're just constantly doing activities that you're not normally doing. So it was great. It was great. And then we had that's right. We went tubing, snow tubing. So one day is snow tubing at this giant hill, and they have big old tubes, and everybody's going down, and you can go down in big groups, or you can go down by yourself. A lot of fears were faced on that hill by some of the campers, and encouraging, you can do it, come on, let's all go. There's one gentleman named Cody who's here in Kentucky, and he would not go without Dylan and I. Dylan and I were the only ones that he would go down the hill with, and he loved it. It was so awesome and infectious to see how much he loved it. He was like just so excited about it. But snow tubing, and there's a talent show at the very end that the camp puts on, and all the kids can display their talents, and some amazing talents, some amazing voices. There were a lot of singers, some that not so good, but there were a lot that was just like blown away by how good the singing was, and comedy and all kinds of stuff. One lady did taekwondo. She's like a black belt in taekwondo, so she was doing that. So yeah, just really cool stuff, and great experience. And this is open to anyone. If you want to be an athlete, as I said, it's age 14 to 29. And like Dylan says, the only cost is the flight out there, the flight to Denver. They take care of everything else.
And back.
And back, yeah, obviously. Round trip. But other than that, it's completely free, and it's a full week of just fun activities. Just a little side note that my first time being around blind kids growing up was when I went to a summer camp for blind kids, and I loved it. It was so much fun, and it was like life-changing for me. So it was really cool to see that in some of these campers and see that experience kind of happening again. There's one young man from Eastern Kentucky, lives in a holler, Jaden. He was super cool. He was in my room, and the whole time he's like, he could not believe that this was the first airplane he'd ever been on, the first other blind people he'd ever met, and he couldn't believe how nice the blind people were and how welcoming they were and how they weren't bullying him because he couldn't see. And so it was just fantastic that I was like, you got to come back next year, man. We got to keep it going. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then if you want to be a trainer, it's kind of the same thing. You pay for your way out there, and you're a chaperone, and a little bit extra responsibilities come with that. We do have to get up super early for a morning meeting, but other than that, it's just out there having fun. And then part of the UK, University of Kentucky sends out a group every year, and that's how we were part of that. And for us, as part of that group, it didn't cost anything. So they cover it as part of their grant that they get to send these people every year. So if anybody's interested in the future, I'm sure we could get information for you guys as part of the resources that we provide here at the Bluegrass Council of the Blind. And then I think if we can open it up to comments and questions. One thing I will say, it is a faith-based organization, so they do some small worship in the evening, playing music, things like that. The back of our shirts say, "I walk by faith, not by sight." So, but they don't, it's not like mandatory. If you don't want to stay for that because that's not your thing, you can get up and leave. So it's not like a requirement that you have to participate in that. It's there if you want to enjoy it, and if you don't, that's fine. You can go do something else. So, yeah. Anything else, Dylan? Is that good?
I think that's good. Yeah.
All right.
I got 2 questions.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. How did y'all avoid the trees? And then, I was just in the skiing part, and then I also want to ask you about the rock climbing. Didn't they have some kind of protective equipment when you climb the rock?
Yes.
Yes, I'll talk about skiing, you talk about rock climbing. So skiing, well, as I said, you have a sighted guide there with you. So they are either skiing in front of you, they're skiing behind you. Dylan and I both had two guides each, so one was in front, one was in back. Some of them will even ski backwards in front of you, so they can kind of keep an eye on you.
Really?
Yeah, and some of them, and they'll usually just shout out directions, and for the most part, you can hear them. One of our, well, yeah, they have different options for people that don't have as much mobility. They even have these bikes that you can sit in that have skis, and they'll take you down the mountain. Avery, who is one of our, comes here, she went on the trip with us as well. And no, it wasn't Avery, I'm sorry. It was one of the other athletes who has a little bit of a hearing impairment. They were able to put walkie-talkies in the helmet. So her guide could talk to her through a walkie-talkie, and she heard it in the helmet. So so they can help guide you so you can avoid the trees. But as I said, the trees for low vision users or individuals, the tree is a big mass of black off to the side against the white of the snow. So it's like, stay away from that, you're good.
I just wasn't sure about how much space you have between, each tree and stuff. Must be a lot of space.
A lot of space, yeah, you're nowhere near
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trees, usually.
And if you get too near them, they will yell at you. They won't yell at you. They'll tell you that you're getting close. For the rock climbing, it is. I didn't go this year. I went last year. I go every week, so I did other things. But you have a harness that you wear that is strapped around your waist and your legs, and there's a rope that either goes up to the top and then back down, and another person is kind of like giving you slack in the rope or pulling it tight, whatever you need at the moment. Or there's like, it's called an auto belay, and it just kind of it automatically retracts as you go up, and you're attached to it the whole time as you're going up. And so if you fall, it slowly lets you down instead of like you falling. Yeah, so you're tied in the whole time, and so even if you're not on auto belay and there's a person, like if you lose your grip, you're just gonna swing backwards and then swing back into the wall, so you don't really fall.
Right, okay. I kind of figured it was something like that.
Yeah.
Sam, describe your shirts to everybody, the front, the back.
So these are long sleeve black shirts. The colors are black and gold. On the front it has the XMO logo, which is a large X and a smaller MO written to the side of it, surrounded by a square. And then on the arm, what's down the arm?
It's their website. This is xmocamps.org.
xmocamps.org, and then on the back it just has text that says that I walk by faith, not by sight, I think is what it says.
In Braille and in...
Oh, and Braille. Is it tactile?
It's not, no.
Well, it kind of is.
A little bit.
Yeah. And they give you these shirts every year, so now I have 2 of them. Does anybody think they would like to go on a trip in the future and go skiing?
No. Only if they do water skiing in the
That's the summer, but it's in California.
Isn't there an age limit, didn't you say?
It's age to be an athlete. It's age 14 to 29, but for a chaperone, I don't think so. There were people older than us.
Yeah, and the chaperones can ski too.
The chaperones get to do pretty much everything that the kids need to do.
So I have a question about the chaperones. What are your responsibilities as a chaperone besides having fun?
It's just helping out in all the situations. As we said, we have to get up in the morning for a 6:15 a.m. meeting, trainer meeting. And then we have to meet at breakfast after that. And it's if you see somebody in line that needs help with the buffet, you have to help them, help find seats.
Help guide people.
Yeah, guide people, go get drinks for people, just general stuff like that.
And they try to put like at least one of you per room with the athletes.
Yes, one chaperone in each room with the athletes. Yeah, other than that, you're just out there having fun with everybody else.
Yep.
Does anybody have any other questions for this?
I think I would like to be a chaperone.
It's fun.
It's really fun. Yeah. All right.
No,
more questions? All right, well, thank you very much. It was very
Thank you, everybody.
interesting.
Thank you.